Progress.
Yes, take it. All right.
All righty, let's call the meeting to order at 6:02, Boardman Park and Rec District. Monthly meeting, board meeting, 6 p.m. Open and regular call to order, got it. Roll call and introduction of guests. So who do we have online? We have Chrissy and we have Takeo. Anybody else besides Shelby? Up there? Is that it?
That is all.
Okay. All right, so Chrissy, Takeo, and Shelby online. Norma, hopefully will get on there eventually, so you might look for her. George Scheimer. We have all of our board members except Norma online so far. So approval of meeting agenda. Does anybody have any changes to this agenda, or can we go ahead and move forward with it?
I've got one addition.
Sure.
I'd like to talk about the sidewalk issue.
A sidewalk issue?
Okay.
That'd be later on.
Is that going to be under other?
Yes.
So sidewalk discussion with George under other. Anybody else? If not, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
And a second,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are past minutes of the previous board meeting. Has everybody had a chance to read that? The only, I think I just had one, on page 4, under customer service bullet there, it says Krista add that needs to be asked that, but other than that, I don't have any other modifications.
Shelby, how long have you known me?
When did you start with the PD?
Long time ago.
Okay, so a long time.
Do I glimmer and shimmer,
Yep.
or am I a shimer?
Did I put Shimmer? Did I put Shimmer again?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Okay.
Where?
All over it.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, you are.
So it'd be a
Oh,
quick-
you are Shimmer. Yep. Okay.
I
We'll
like to
fix you.
shimmer and shine.
We'll fix you.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you gotta run with me, girl.
I'll put here correct. All shimer or shimmers to shimmer.
Thought about that when I saw it this afternoon.
Norma tried to get on and she says it says the host.
Oh,
has
here it
another
is.
meeting in progress.
I think she should be on now.
There she is.
Okay. You got her? Norma, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us. So we will correct the minutes to say that Norma is online with us.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any other changes to the minutes? If not, I'll take a motion to pass.
What was that?
Approve, sorry, approve the meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the minute with shimmer turned to shimer. As presented. Person price asked.
Yes.
Okay, super. Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, financials. Before we go over the financials, what is page 5 through 7 in comparison to the rest of the pack? Why is that one?
It was one I asked for to just have an overall. So we
Oh.
could see the.
So the ORG
we're
is
at
for
overall.
organization?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I saw overnight fees and I thought, oh, that's different with park. All right, so overall then, we are 191,700.10 for revenue. And we are 198,910.90 for expenditures. So a loss of 7,210.80. Page 8. Anybody have any questions on page 8? It's pretty standard. I do have, does include the transfer from the general to the park expansion of 290. So is that the money that we got in? That was the Amazon money?
No, that should actually say does not. It didn't save it from
Oh,
last
okay,
week.
'cause I was
It does
wondering-
not.
Was not included. I was wondering why we transferred money so quickly. Okay. So we're gonna correct that then, does not include.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. On page 8. Right, so the next 3 pages are the Bank of VO, the GO bond debt service, and the boat dock loans, which are right in line with what we always are told on those. I'm looking here real quick, so our boat dock loan has a balance of 59. Payment due June 1st of 2023, 12,000. Okay. All right, and then we're into our individual income statements by the month for the park. This one, of course, has a net revenue of 28,302.63 on page 13. We have our balance sheet on
You got
page.
a lot more money in this one than the last year.
That would be because of the Oregon Community Grant that we received for the summer programs.
It's about 134,000.
Yeah, well, total between the park and the pool, but the park got 83,564. Shows
Yes.
about way down on page 12.
Yes.
So we'll never be a little less than if you take out that.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
Still good.
Balance sheets on 14. She has unearned revenue still 166. Nothing we can do about that. It's just stuff that hasn't been earned yet. Camping fees have been paid.
Last year.
Oh, sorry, current year 130. Sorry, I had the wrong one. And there's the budget comparison on 15 through 16. Which were right at the beginning of our budget year, so I don't know that anything's really gonna stand out to us too much. Other than we had that grant income of 83,000 showing on there. On line 4027. Which is half of our budget. Which is great. Let's see, anything else that stands out, as you guys do. Oh. And then the checking on 17 and, 17 through 20.
Yeah.
Yep. With all of our deposits and disbursements. Anybody have any questions on those?
$41,000.
Yeah, it says the pool, the 141,000,
On page 18.
page 18, Shelby, and it has the pool code on it.
It has a pool code on it because I mislabeled it. So I was in a hurry. That is actually the Oregon Community check that came in for the grant.
On page 20, what's the credit card refunds?
Those are the refunds that we have to give from the old system.
Mhm.
Because when we switched from the old credit or the old campground system to the new one, the payment information from the old system did not get transferred over. So we actually have two different credit card processors that we have to process refunds through right now. And it's from reservations that were made in the old system
How long will we still be, you have to do that?
through the end of September.
Okay.
We don't have it online to make reservations for October 1 onwards, so none of those would have been made in the old system. That's why it's in September.
Does anybody else have any questions on those particular pages? Would be pages 12 through 20. If not, we'll go on to the camping sites. We have really good camping sites. Our well, cash basis, I'm sorry, so the cash basis is up, but the camping sites are down.
It's due to the fees being higher this year.
16,103 versus. And we've begun asking people, like when they're calling to cancel reservations, like their reasoning for canceling. And there's been an interesting array of answers. So it's not, there was a family that there's all sorts of issues going on in the family, so they didn't want to come and have their family reunion there. There was a family that well, this is a sad one, their grandson did like some mass shooting. So they canceled their reservations. There are some gas prices, just lack of funds for a lot of people.
Somebody
It's a
openly
variety.
admitted that.
Yes.
It's an interesting choice of disclosure.
So,
Alrighty, pages 22 and 23, we now have the pool income statement. So we have the current actual net revenue 26,455, and then expenditures 61,968 for a loss of 35,513.43. We have okay, and then on what is it, 24, we have the balance sheet. Current year. Just looking for
Oh,
that.
I gotta go back. Page 22, Shelby, under utilities. This year we're 39.79, but last year it's only zero.
That's a good question. I am gonna have to look into that one. I don't know why it's going like that.
Which was a lot
and it bill.
last
Yeah,
year.
that's kind of strange.
And I understand, gas and everything's going up in cost,
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be a zero from last year. I'll have to look at that and figure out what happened there.
okay. Yeah, on page 22, third one from the bottom, electricity.
Oh. Oh, impressive.
Thanks for putting page numbers on, that helps.
Definitely does.
Spend a lot more on chemicals and fertilizer this year.
The chemicals is because we just switched to a new company, which will ultimately save us money. But to get the initial chemical delivery, it's the full
Sure.
tank.
Yeah.
So that will last us quite some time.
Cool.
So on page 24, we have accounts payable of 240,000.
That's the money that the pool borrowed from the park when we first built it. That's why it says accounts payable BPRD. That's that payables, receivables, that's between the pool and the park fund.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do you have any questions so far? Budget comparison, page 25 and 26. So we're right at the beginning, so I don't know that too much of this should stand out.
I guess my question would be like, what's our average loss on the pool? Like in July, I know last year wasn't a great example, right? Because of everything, or the year before maybe, but like, I mean, we still were, if we look at both of the budgets combined, we are in a loss. That's
For the rec?
in the entire thing. You said we're a $7,000 loss. Am I incorrect about that at the beginning? So
No,
if we're
correct.
a $7,000 loss every single month, we're gonna go over our budget.
We
Right.
won't be. We shouldn't be.
Yeah.
More, because we should bump into the positive once we have our revenue come in.
Okay.
For the taxes.
The mixed rat and the
Yeah,
mission.
and the camping, all the camping income comes in.
And I realized July was just the beginning of our fiscal year, but still, like, if it's $7,000 and $7,000 next month, it's 7,000. That's 21,000. I mean,
Yes,
that's
that
quick.
would be very horrible.
Okay.
Yeah. No, our taxes should offset that, and then the income from camping in obviously in January.
yeah. Now, and I guess I was curious to
Correct,
see.
Shelby?
Yes. Yeah, we should start seeing a positive number overall. I will say July, we did have a lot of items that were purchased for the park program, for the summer rec program. So that will put us into a negative because we generally don't have a lot of those high dollar purchases that we had this year.
The theory is there, though, that if the park made 400 and something last year and the rec center took 200 and something of that away, technically somewhere throughout the year, we should have a positive of
Right.
approximately.
We should have more taxes each year because of that.
Yes, correct.
It
Yeah, no,
won't be the amount this year, because I believe the money we got this year was a 2-year deal. So it should be half of what we got.
Mhm.
Above what we got.
Yeah.
Because Karen came and gave us that, but I don't know, were you on the board when Karen came there? Give a presentation. We was talking
Give it
about
two
stuff
things.
coming out,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Page 27 and 28. Anybody have any questions on that? Oh, actually 28, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Those all go together. Otherwise, it's just an accounting of all of our checks that went out. If not, we have scans, of course, on 31 and 32. And if nobody has any comments, I'll take a motion to approve the financials with the additional changes, of course.
What is the Daxco LLC?
That's our software program that was implemented at the recreation center for memberships.
Oh, thanks.
we're down almost 1,000 scans in July.
Part of the scan numbers, and correct me if I'm wrong, Takeo or Shelby, was because we weren't able to collect scans initially for the 24-hour access. Because when you scan.
Yes,
before-
that is correct. There was an issue with on the club automation side of the way they had set up our scanner, that it wasn't keeping the scanner on the whole time. So for the first part of the month, we were having to manually scan people in during the day. And then when they'd come at night, it would not pick up their scans, and they've corrected that. So now everything is working again.
So did we have a motion for the,
No, not yet. We're waiting on somebody to be happy.
And that's on those days it says issue.
That was the days that say issue is the days that the scanner did not work at all.
So it's. So are we, when that happens, are the employees just manually checking? Is that what
Well,
happens?
Yes, they were on those. Let me look. So the ones that say issue on them at the beginning of July were days that we were closed. So we didn't have employees there.
Oh. And still what, it wasn't working. Okay, that makes sense.
So it was working after that, though. They were manually doing it.
Is there anything else? We accept the
Financial.
financials as presented with the corrections.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign, passed. All right, we are on to old business, district policy update, Rebecca,
All right.
paid holidays.
Yes, so as far as the overall document, I am still working on that and gathering information for that and merging things. One thing that did come up were district holidays, and really I'm just looking for some guidance because our handbook does not specify with holidays if people are taking them the Friday before, the Monday after, if they fall on the weekend as well. It also doesn't specify if our employees are observing them on Monday and Friday if the facility if the recreation facility is closed. So this year, Christmas and Christmas Eve fall on Saturday and Sunday, and then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day fall on Saturday and Sunday, as just an example. So normally we would be open on the 23rd of December and the 26th of December. But those are the days, if we observe them before and after, that would be the employees' holidays for full-time employees.
Can you tell me what the norm is? I mean, I only know banking hours, so they are what you said on here, which is basically number one,
Mhm.
that if it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, they observe it on Friday and Monday. But my question is, what are the other recreational organizations doing? What is their norm?
Most cities follow their city holidays, which are before and after. So it's across multiple departments. The recreation center is closed on those days, before and after the holiday on those Mondays and Fridays. There are places that run, say, a week-long Christmas camp for the winter holiday, and they try to stay open on that Friday, for example, if it's not actually on the holiday for revenue purposes. We don't have a camp planned on that Friday. A lot of places close because they don't have full-time staff that are required to work that day.
My opinion is that I'm a big family person, so it's really horrible for me to even think these people are working on a day that everybody else is considering their Christmas. You know what I mean? On a Monday, if everybody else has Monday off because it fell on a Sunday, then I feel like they should get it too.
Okay.
I guess my notation to your memo here was that under number 4, it says, does the district manager have the discretion to allow full-time salaried employees to choose the date they observe a weekend or holiday? And my thing is, no, you have the ability to choose. You're the one running our park. And so I feel like you have the ability to make an overall decision, but it has to be uniform, right? If you're, I mean, it's not, I guess the way I read that is I don't want the managers themselves saying, well, I'm off, and then another manager saying, well, I'm working. Like, it needs to be uniform.
So the question there was, say there's just a holiday that falls on the weekend, not 2 days. Can the person take it on a Friday or a Monday? Operationally, that way we could have a manager on property or around here on a Monday and a Friday, if we're able to have that flexibility. So I mean, I wouldn't there are staff that would prefer to take it on Friday as opposed to Monday too. So, and operationally, it's not an issue for them to take it Friday versus Monday. Which also goes back to the bottom part as far as holidays and that we work on holidays.
I guess as long as, I mean, I guess my opinion is as long as you're approving it. And
Okay.
that they're not just saying, this is what I'm doing. We
That's
don't care what the rest of the park is. I'm taking Friday. Like it has to be your approval.
Okay.
For them to do that. I don't, what's the rest of the board feel? And then the full-time, this whole proposed policy at the bottom,
yes.
I wrote okay next to because I was okay with that. But what's the rest of the board feel about this? How does the rest of the board feel about this? Speak up, everybody.
Yeah, thinking to speak up. So what I think is, I think that I'm actually don't mind if they come and say like, I want to do this on Friday versus this Monday, as long as we have coverage. I think it's about a negotiation you have to have with your staff, and you have to figure that out with what's going to make each of those places work, right? Park in. I don't think it's really. I don't really think it's really a decision for us. I think it comes to you. Like,
I just want to put it out there. I mean, there's procedures, there's policies.
Okay, but
So
what are you gonna do if you have everyone wants to take Friday off and no one wants to work on that Monday?
I mean, as a staff, we going to talk about it and work it out. I mean, I'm also willing to work the one day that they don't. I mean, that's something that we can discuss with
I
staff.
think that's an operational thing.
Okay.
Because they're gonna get a day off no matter what. and That's what
Correct.
we're committed to.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
they get these 9 days, that's it.
There's nine holidays.
That's what's in our book, yes.
Yeah.
Currently.
That's what I was thinking too, Juneteenth.
Yeah, it's not on there. That's, I mean, it's something that's come about, but our policies and procedures haven't been updated.
Juneteenth, that's become a national holiday.
Well, it's still at the discretion of the states. It's a federal holiday. The state does recognize it, but states don't have to recognize it.
For example, this year we ran our summer program. That was the first day of our program, but we didn't realize that it was Juneteenth at first, and we couldn't get any food for the summer program because the school district observes it. And
Is it Veterans Day?
But-
It's a federal holiday, but schools still are in school on that day.
but we observed it another day though.
Right.
So
That's what I mean. Like she has the option of giving other days. It's just that, you know.
Good.
Veterans Day isn't on here either. And it's a federal holiday. So
well, I guess you can just keep us informed as we informed before that.
so as far as the top part, we're good with that the rec center is not open on the Monday or the Friday, like this year for Christmas. Correct.
Well, yeah, make the money, girl.
I feel like there's going to be very few people that come in when it's a weekend for a holiday to begin with, because a lot of people do things throughout the weekend.
I mean, it's a family time.
I would just say get the information out there way early
Yeah.
as you make that
Absolutely.
decision, so people already know way before that. And then, it's posted. There's still, we can send it out as much as you want, but you're gonna have to post it. And one person will come and be like, "Hey, no, we've had this out."
Okay.
So
We can get it posted.
Yeah.
Get it posted on the website as well. As far as the bottom portion about a policy, it doesn't address full-time salaried employees who work holidays. It's been just, oh, sure, take it whenever. I mean, I would like something where, okay, you have your 8 hours and you can take it on another day if operationally we need to work. 4th of July is an example. We're all down there working, and that I work the holiday, but the maintenance manager worked the holiday to actually say you can take a different day off. And it's not something they have to flex out that week. They could actually take it a different day and not just have it off the books. I mean, for me, I want to have it on the books and tracked.
Because that's what you're kind of referring to last week. Was, when you were talking.
so many, like for the year, how many days off? did you
Yeah.
have a month?
I mean, I'd rather you have
Well,
this day.
I agree with you.
But this doesn't need a motion. It's just a conversation.
No, like you said, John, I think it's operational, so she's wanting their opinion.
Yeah, I think it's good for staff to think we could do that. You're gonna retain more people by making like, getting them involved in their decision making. That's a good thing.
Norm, you got any comments on that?
No, yeah, I think it's a good idea on the number 4 thing. Yeah, I think she should have the discretion to allow them to decide what day they want off. So yeah, everything looks good.
Is that it for that, Rebecca?
That is all.
Okay, irrigation GPS final update, it says.
I did a final update. It's on that page. Essentially 98.8% of the valves have been tagged. They are still trying to find 3 of them at the residence. They have not located them yet, but as far as at all the parks, the valves are all tagged. And there was a question about where they are stored and where that information is and who has access to that. And they are in Asset Essentials, which is a database. They've been backed up, as Craig told us, as a CVC file. And he's actually in the process of converting it to GIS layers so that it's more readily usable information. So it's in multiple places. So.
Good job.
Okay.
Employee background checks.
So I reached out to SDAO about background checks. And what their response is that they said to reach out. Well, every district develops their own standards as to what is considered acceptable and not enough. So she suggested that I reach out to other park and rec districts. So I have been. There's 9 of them that I've sent emails out to or left phone messages for. Not getting many responses back. I don't know if it's just because it's summer. Otherwise, they said to work with our attorney to develop one as far as like what would be criteria to disqualify someone, which was my original question. What are acceptable offenses that would still allow someone to be hired? So they commended us for working to develop such a standard. So I'm waiting to see what else I can find. But SDAO does not have resources to provide to us.
Be back next month.
Yes, to be continued.
EMS memberships, I think that was more of checking on, yeah, well, the minutes said that, Taco was gonna check on what the chief really wanted and whether, because there was something about the access to the building, correct? Taco?
It wasn't the access. I did reach out to him and ask him, and we're still kind of playing. We're checking it out because he was talking about possibly not suggesting, because he can't suggest that, but wanting to know if there was a bigger discount for EMS employees. And so we're kind of going through the whole thing of what that would look like to see before we want to go any further with that. So every EMS that needs to get in through 24 access, they can, and we do have that. I don't remember what it's called, George, the box that we have outside. So
For emergency situations, we use the Knox.
yes.
box.
And it will be different because we are changing over. So those 24 access cards are going to be gone. They're going to be gone as of, it looks like right now, I'm working with our IT guy, and that will be, the transition will actually be over at some weird time, September 19th. It's just when he can get into, we have to close out the old system and open the new one. And then you will actually app on your phone that will do a barcode that you could just scan. And we have the capability to give any EMS people that we would like a scan code that they can literally just scan. We can also do, I was looking to get some key codes as well, so they could literally have those on there to gain access to the front door, if like they could have those on their keys, if you will, when they're on duty. So it's different than it was now with 24 access. It's completely different. So
Well, I can tell, I went down there, Friday night with, another officer, just to go through the building. We had one person coming out. I'm going, dang, I wanted to catch him doing something bad, I wanted to catch somebody doing something wrong. So, not to say I like to catch people doing wrong, but that time I did, because it was just before going off duty, I wanted some overtime. So we, I am a little concerned about when do the lights turn off? Because the 3 times in the last 2 weeks I've gone by at nighttime, they're all on.
In the building?
Yeah, the pool, the gym.
The pool lights that's something I've been trying to get a hold, like talk to my pool staff and the front desk, because it's literally just a button. They're not on occupied, unoccupied time. So usually when I tell them that they need to turn those off, the gym is different. It has a sensor. So they will turn off even during the day. If there's no one in there, they'll just automatically turn off and they won't come back on again until someone comes in. So some of the rooms are auto, but then like the back, like if you were in the employee entrance part, that whole area will light up, and into our employee break room and down the hallway and in the front. And we can't turn those off. They're like, we don't even have access to turn them off. So
Okay, so the lights mean someone had been in there. That's all that means in the gym.
in the gym, yes, in the gym. Pool, it means we didn't turn them off, which I'm working on that one because I'm sure that's quite an expense. So
Real quick, when we put EMS on our agenda, that means all.
That's first responders.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's only speaking on behalf of his organization, correct, Chief?
Correct.
He is, but
Oh, Chief Stoko is asking.
yes.
Okay. Sorry, I had the wrong chief then. So is he asking for all
It would be
Boardman
for
police and
all-
Boardman
all.
fire?
Because we
Fire.
can't just separate them all out, right? Because what is that called? It's the,
Gratuities, we can't take gratuities.
yeah,
So,
it's an all or nothing kind of thing. So,
yeah, you can't, the police cannot be singled out.
No, I get that. I was
So,
just curious about whether Morrow County ambulance is included in that.
that
EMS?
is we were doing all, yes.
We should be calling this first responders and not EMS.
Okay,
Because EMS would refer to the ambulance crews.
sure, okay.
And if again, I am not in favor of giving out free passes to these people. Okay? They all
Right.
make good money. They can all pay for their memberships. Okay? The only concern I want to, I'm and you've got it what I want. So
Right,
switch
yeah,
it.
and I think that the Chiefs, I think he was not by any means asking for free memberships, at least the last time I had talked to him. He was just kind of wondering, like, okay, like right now, the fire department goes under the city, well, it goes under the port, and he was kind of wondering, well, why can't we group all of our first responders into kind of like one user group, if you will? We put the same thing so that all of them get the same discount. That we're not saying it has to be, huge, whatever. I mean, we're not asking for free memberships, anything like that. He wanted to be very clear, just kind of singling out the first responders as their own entity.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
because I know talking to the other officers, some of them, they've said, I've got comments of, well, if it's free, I'd definitely go. Because I never, no way I'm going to let you get it free, man. I'm going to do my hardest to make you pay. And number two, another comment was, it'd be nice to get, a little more discount just so that you can save a little more money off of it. And I'm just going, take them. If you really want a discount like that, that's your choice, in my opinion. But first responders get paid good money, professional,
But
and it's in my opinion, and the other comment is, well, we should be fit.
They're
our
not
bodies
gonna-
be fit, we fit, and I'm just going. I
But
agree.
it's kind of like grouping, when we do our corporate memberships, it's the same thing. Depending on how many people you have signed up, depends on how big the discount is. Same thing like when we go through with the port. So, and I think that's why he wanted to kind of group them everyone together, because then if we get them more signed up, then it gets more first responders grouped in that, then it gets them a higher discount.
Isn't the fire already under the port anyway?
The
Which is
fire
the
is
highest
under the
There.
port. Yeah.
Yes. yeah.
So we're only adding the police and EMS to that discount, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What would be the discount?
Right now, Shelby, do you know what the actual discount is? Because I know you just did the
The discount, they're at the 25%
25,
discount.
that's what I thought.
The annual for an individual is.
Oh, because they're with port,
$360.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
and then the annual for a family is $630.
What was the individual discount at 25%?
$360.
You got no problem with that person.
We're gonna vote on that.
No, there's nothing to
That's
vote on.
theirs.
There's nothing to vote on.
Operations again.
We have to vote on it if we're gonna change our percentage of discount, but we're not being asked to do that tonight.
Yeah, I believe that there's more discussion that needs to be had.
Yes.
We're gonna look at changing percentages and that kind of thing, because I think we're opening ourselves up to a can of worms with
Yes.
looking at that right now.
I have a question. Does the port have to approve that they go under their membership?
Yes, so our board approved it before they went under it, and the port also had to approve it as well.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion on that topic?
You said the fire had to come to us first?
The fire department did come to us before they went to the port.
I don't think so.
No, I don't,
We found out about it afterwards.
yeah, that was after the fact. I don't remember it ever coming to us.
Chief came in and talked about it.
Oh, did he? I do not remember that. But that's okay, it could have happened.
He didn't talk about going to the port to get that bigger discount.
He came and talked about a discount.
He did. And then he did not talk to us about joining up with the port. And that I can't.
Well, I think it came through Scott. It didn't come directly from Chief, it came from Scott.
Okay. And it might have been Scott's idea to do that to help them out.
All right, new business, processing fees for credit cards. You see, we have a for that. So it looks like we have 7,013 transactions, 30 cents per transaction.
30 cents per transaction plus 2.9%.
So that is the current rate that we're paying with the new processor and at the campground. Unfortunately, the processor we're with is only one that we can use for the new system. But this, above that, the table is a recap of all of the transactions that we ran between both systems last year for the campground. So 7,813 transactions for a total sales amount of 669,598.71.
So do they get 2.9% of the sales?
Yes, it's 2.9% of the sales plus 30 cents for each transaction. And this is what a lot of the credit card processors are going to. I know that with the rec center, the new processor that we have, it's also a percentage as well as a per transaction fee.
See, there's that $19,000 figure that
Yep.
we were looking at on the budget that I wish that we had our customers paying for instead of us, I guess.
And that is something that we're going to be presenting at the next meeting, a master fee schedule with some proposed changes. And that is one thing that will probably be beyond there.
Okay, thank you for
Transaction fee to discuss, so.
writing that. Does anybody have any questions on that?
$21,000 gone.
That we're paying for. Yeah. Thank you for putting that together. Halloween event fees, Halloween event fees.
Yes. So as Shelby just mentioned, we will be working to pull together a master fee schedule of programming fees and fees across the campground, the recreation center, memberships, etc., for approval. So at this time, we are looking at doing a Halloween festival down in the Marina Park this year. And there would be one activity that we would charge for, and the rest would be free. It would be held on the 27th to the 30th. The 27th is like a preview day, and then the 28th and 29th are the days for the event. The proposal for the haunt, which would be kind of like 5 different rooms that you go through, kind of like a haunted house, but it would be on the ball field, and we have plans for how that would be laid out. And it's really an immersive experience, and it can be scary, or it doesn't have to be scary. That's where there's these glow boost sticks that you can get. And if you have a glow boost stick, you won't, like, actors won't get close to you and try to scare you. There are not many events in the area that are comparable. The things that we were able to find, Kennewick, some people went to it last year, but it's 50, and the prices down below for comparables are per person, like $15 a person. Yakima has the Haunted Forest for $11, and Echo has a corn maze for $13 per person. We would like to charge $5 for an individual and $15 for a family of 4 or more. There will also be activities that are free down there that are under the pavilion. Fun things like even like pumpkin guts, so having the kids be able to reach in and feel the like the seeds and the guts from a pumpkin. Different, more of a science kind of themed, mad science activities under the pavilion, and minimal merchandise, just to have some glow sticks and items down there and some vendors. So at this point, since we don't have a master fee schedule that says we have the authority to just charge for something, we have brought this to ask for permission to charge for this event.
I think it's awesome. Another great event to start up. Is this going to replace?
The harvest night up at the Sage Center. That is actually on Halloween for like a couple hours, yes.
Okay.
And we will be participating in that with a craft activity for the children to come to.
All right. And so you need a motion on this.
Shelby, do we need a motion to approve the prices?
Yes,
Okay,
Okay, so I will move to accept the Boardman Halloween Festival as presented.
I second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed, same sign. Norma, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, all right, just trying to include you.
Yeah, I was trying to see, because individual, so there's no kids price or anything. It's just individual.
an individual for the haunt activity, and then there's also other youth activities that are free.
Mhm.
the haunt is gonna be scary enough that it's gonna be for 12 and older.
Oh, so you're not like 7-year-olds?
Would not recommend it.
Well, she did say there was a glow stick that you can hold. you-
Yes, because the actors will be out roaming in the whole area. So kids can be in the market area and then over in the science lab area. And as long as they have that boo stick, not to be scared, the actors won't approach them, but they would not be allowed to go actually inside the haunt itself.
Oh, I see. I get it. All right, makes sense.
And if any of you guys would like to be involved in any capacity, they,
Have a volunteer form to fill out.
yes.
I would love to hear
Yeah.
kids.
Hannah is working on it, and there will probably be a costume contest or two, and they had asked if you guys would like to even help judge the costume contest. So more to follow with that. It's on the Thursday, Friday and Saturday before Halloween.
So we're inviting, okay, so costume contest is with your actors?
No,
Or is it with everyone?
With the
that's coming?
kids that are coming.
Question. I was wondering, maybe at this event, is there any way we could do like meet the board members? Because I feel like we're not very open to the community of who all the board members are.
We can find some way to incorporate that. We could, Saturday's short notice, but we'll be down at the event on Saturday as well. The fireworks, but
Are you hunting that weekend? It's like first
Yes.
weekend of Bull Rock, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but I will be back because I have to work. It's the,
Boardman
Night out.
night out.
and Chief did not realize that 3 of his officers were going to.
In October?
No,
This weekend, this Saturday.
for the fireworks. So, but Laura and I are coming back. Kyle will not be there because he's with Shelby. So, but we'll be back.
But from 6 to 8, we'll have the bounce house out down there as well at the park. The fireworks are at 9. So they can.
Okay, audit recap.
No, we have audit recap.
Do you,
And then that's what-
it's on,
How about we do the audit recap?
so we had our audit the first week of August. It actually went really well. I had a lot of good comments from our auditors saying it was one of the cleanest years that they have had from us as far as our books go in years. And we have had a long-standing comment of being a lot of adjustments needing to be made to our books to get us over to accrual. And this year, they told me they are removing that from our audit because our books were so clean and there's hardly any adjustments needing to be made. So that is huge progress that has been made over the last 2 years with our books. And it's something that, I know we've worked really hard to get to. So I'm very happy to say that that's where we're at with that. They did recommend that we discuss over the next few months reclassifying the park fund to a governmental fund, which would allow us to actually combine the park and pool funds into one general fund. And it would allow us to have easier budgeting for and the organization overall. So that's something that, I would like to work with you guys to look at and give a proposed list of how our budget would look if we were to do that prior to the reclassification, if that's something you wanted to go with. Is there any questions?
Would the board rather see that? Would you guys rather see that all combined? I guess
How about that? Yeah.
we had, Shelby and I had talked about this, that it was originally divided because of the rec center being built, and we had to keep all those construction funds separate and the accounting for it separate. But now that it's all up and running and we've had a few years to think about it, it makes sense maybe just to combine them. She's still going to have all of her line items, correct, Shelby? Everything's gonna be separated out still, just that you're gonna have one, basically one accounting of it all, correct?
Correct. We would still be able to run reports that would separate out the funds if you guys wanted to see a report that showed exactly what the rec center was doing. But it would allow us to have one general fund that we could departmentalize out. So we would have all of our maintenance in one department for the whole district. You know, we would have a recreation department, salaries, you know, it would all be under one. That would also make it to where we could eliminate one of the checking accounts and not have two checking accounts as well.
Think about that. We might wanna.
Is that kind of is that similar to what other districts do that are like us?
It
I
is.
have not, I would assume.
I've done my research on it over the last couple of years, and their majority of the districts do put everything in one general fund and then departmentalize out.
It seems like, just thinking about it, I'm just talking to my thoughts out. I mean, we make a lot of transactions between, or really it's the park transactions to the pool to cover the pool's cost. So it's just all we're doing is creating more busy work for ourselves in that essence, and going, okay, why? I mean, I've been on the board now for a year, and we've asked the same question. Hey, how come this fund is going into the pool from the park, right? And so
Yes.
to me, it seems more simple, but.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind with doing this, that accounts receivable, accounts payable is there for the 240,000 that the pool had to borrow from the park when it was being built will actually go away. It will offset, and it will no longer just be hanging there showing that the pool owes the park money.
When do we have to make a decision on this?
We don't have to make a decision until probably the October, November meetings. But definitely before, well, definitely the November meeting would be the latest, because January is when we're going to start looking at the budget and putting that together for the next year.
So let's, whoever, Chrissy, can you make sure that we keep that, or make a notation for that on September's at least, so we keep moving it forward each month to remind ourselves?
Yes, absolutely. I can do that.
Thank you. And Shelby, thank you for working so hard on getting our financials straight. I know that's a lot of work, and I know that especially making those auditors happy is a lot of work. And the fact that you were able to get them to remove that black or red mark, it's to be a red mark against us on our past auditing reports. That's a great thing. So good job on that.
Thank you.
Resolution 2022-006, movement of funds. Shelby, can you tell us about this? Or is it you?
It was, I mean,
Is that you?
I can do it.
Yeah.
Right. So we have a resolution to move funds from the contract janitorial labor line item into personnel services. And the reason is that for this budget year, we had approved that we would be able to get a second janitor custodian for the recreation center. We have gone through Atkinson Staffing, who provides our current janitor, and they are unable to provide us with another janitor for our facility. So we would like to have the option of hiring someone internally to do custodial, or not internally, but like run a whole process, but have a person on our staff that would do custodial and light maintenance work. And in order to do that and to publicize the position, we would want to have the money for that line item to be able to fund that. Right now, it's all under the personnel services, which is the contract agency.
What about and then, so the rest is there, it just kind of follows suit, right? The 993 for the basically payroll tax.
Yes, so this is based on $17 per hour as far as a range. We don't have to be at the top end of that, but it gives us a starting point to be able to pull that money over and hire someone. and it's the 35,360 for the personnel services, and then 993.62 for the payroll taxes under personnel services.
Does the board have any questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move that we approve resolution 2022-006 as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, passed.
Make a copy without the page number for you to sign. I don't know where my whiteout went.
Lifeguard apprentice program, who do we have speaking to us on that?
Myself. So I taught a lifeguard class a couple weekends ago, and I know that David had brought it up as well about our lifeguards and trying to figure out a way for us to incentivize youth to become interested in aquatics and to learn how to swim, because people right now, we're preaching to people who can't necessarily swim. So they come into a lifeguard class like, I want to be a lifeguard. And then the instructor's in the position of, you can't rhythmic breathing, you're combining two different strokes, all of which are issues. And I can't even pass you through the pre-course in order to participate in the class. So I am interested in doing a lifeguard apprentice program. Right now, I have possibly one person that would be interested in helping with the program, but eventually when we do get a pool coordinator back on board, they would definitely be involved. And so I would be working with TACO to start this, providing them the opportunity to learn to swim for ages 12 to 16 in order to work towards getting the skills they need to be able to pass that lifeguard course. So as it says, program participation does not guarantee employment with the district, but when they become 15, they can get their lifeguard certification. And we can also employ 14-year-olds in the capacity such as doing like an aquatics aid for the pool, or for the pool to keep the slide open, for example, or doing swim tests. So I believe it's beneficial. And one thing I would like to do in order to incentivize the youth to do this would be allow them to have a free membership to come in. It would allow them to come in and practice their skills and have an incentive to be a part of that and feel like they're a part of the community center as well. So that is my proposal, that lifeguard apprentice program participants would receive a free membership in order to allow them to come in and practice. We would set attendance requirements to receive the free membership. You can't just show up once and come swim for free for the next 5 months. So I don't have the whole program fleshed out, but as a first step, working with this, because right now when we do have people, it's like, well, come in and practice. So we'd like to work on putting something more formal together to support that program and
It'd be
support
really
people like
cute
this.
if you could give them shirts that said like,
Lap.
okay, maybe we don't want to have it say laugh, but like you could have it say something cute, like future lifeguard or lifeguard in
Oh, I'm
you know what I
sure.
mean? Well, it would be, I don't know. Kids are that
Yeah,
age.
I mean,
Okay, maybe not 12 to 16-year-olds. They might be like,
well, we had a lot of youth, for
I'm
example,
not the cool mom anymore.
in the program this summer that are looking for some other way to become involved and to do something. So we'd also try to tap into some of the summer teen program youth that participated. So
Very cool though. I think that would be a great idea.
It's when I came on board, my big push was there was they just wanted to start a swim club, and I was totally in favor of it, because in my opinion, the swim club, going to swim meets and stuff, is really building up your future, and this is definitely in that. I would recommend keep pushing for a swim club with the school. To lead to a swim team would be my hope. But
I got approached by a guy that actually he used to be a swim coach at Hermiston. I'd be interested in doing it in Warren County.
I mean, we can't host the meets here.
I know, our 20,
They practice there.
They practice.
here.
Yeah, I mean, but this, I'm totally in favor of this.
for me, it's like, I know we don't have swim lessons going right now, and that's partially because I don't have enough lifeguards and enough aquatic staff to run them, but working to get more lifeguards and aquatic staff through this. We need to build to the point where we do have thriving swim lessons. So,
They all want jobs.
Is there
This
such
is
a
an
thing?
opportunity to get ready for it.
Yeah. Is there such a thing? Because you don't. Sorry, I'm thinking and I'm staring at you, but there's no incentive other than a future job, but like pay wise, like even like if you employ them, you have to pay them a certain like the minimum wage, obviously.
mhm.
So it's not like we can even.
I don't know, well, under the age of 14, we can't hire
Right.
them. I don't know if there's any kind of stipend or
But they're supposed
scholarships
to
or,
be, like training anyway, right?
yes.
So-
And a lot of places they charge the kids to participate in the
Oh,
program.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So they'll have just like a week-long junior lifeguard. I mean, junior lifeguards kind of, a lot of kids are like, wow. So we did a lifeguard apprentice program as far as the name, but people will pay $200 for the kid to go have a chance to participate and learn
Sure.
skills for a week.
Camp away from home.
Great program, great idea though.
So
Question. If they're out of Boardman, does that, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter where they're from.
we have, I mean, a good majority of our lifeguards actually travel from Hermiston right now.
With the shortage, I think we'd be happy to have them
Yeah.
with the shortage. I guess, although you think, I mean, the 16-year-olds that are getting trained and they go work in Hermiston would be kind of unfortunate. but
Well,
nothing we can do about
the
that.
thing about Hermiston is though, it's an outdoor pool during the summer and they actually offer the incentive to their lifeguards. If they come in lifeguard for us, like when it's not summer, that they actually get credit towards like their pay increases and
Oh.
stuff. So if they go to Hermiston during the summer and come back, I mean, that's one of the times we need them the most. For example, Takeo could tell you about our lifeguard schedule once kids go back to school.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah,
we don't have a lot of people during the day.
right.
So.
No, that's great. Thank you for bringing that to light. That's neat.
So as far as this, though, I believe you would need to vote on allowing them to have a free membership. Because we don't
Oh.
have,
Okay, good point.
because right now I don't.
Don't do it. Dave, you're up. You're up. Make it a motion.
Making a motion
I
to,
just did the motion on the resolution.
Oh.
That'd be
John, it's
you.
your turn. Oh, I didn't vote for you.
I'll
need
make
to
a motion to approve.
Nice, good job, Nora.
good job, Norma.
Second.
Yes,
Yeah, I.
Perfect. We passed that puppy, Rebecca. You are allowed to get free memberships to the apprentice program participants.
Wonderful.
Good program, good for you.
Rebecca Hall District. Managers report.
District manager's report. So we have been working on hiring people for both part-time and full-time positions. And we are working to fill those vital roles for operations. So that is still an ongoing process. We do have the full-time pool coordinator role currently posted. As I mentioned earlier, there's the fireworks this coming Saturday. The fireworks are at 9 o'clock, but the Boardman Night Out event starts at 6 o'clock, and our staff will be out there being able to interact with the public, and they're pretty excited about that. Over the past month, we did receive word from Wild Horse, the Wild Horse Foundation, that we received a grant that I had written back in July. And it is for $20,000 to get play or fall protection surfaces for 2 of our playgrounds. So it's the playground in the campground and down at the marina. So it is shredded rubber that is a correct fall protection surface. So that will be done, I believe it's the first week of October. We have a time frame already planned out. And in coordination with that, we have purchased the replacement slide and canopy portion for the campground. So that slide will be repaired. That playground is heavily used. Down here, the slide and the canopy for it, I believe they were vandalized in some fashion. Ted had looked at purchasing the items. So that has been done now. We have requested funding through Good Shepherd's funding cycle, but we will find out after the September board meeting about that. There's several other grant applications out there. So SDAO has safety grants. There's one for shade canopies. There's the Morrow County Cultural Coalition that's due in October. So there's some other funding opportunities that we will be working on going after. So I don't know if it was ever brought to you, but there is a technical analysis study that was completed in September of 2021 by the Energy Trust of Oregon. And one of the suggestions was getting this retro commissioning of the HVAC system in the natatorium. Essentially, it doesn't turn over air as often because it's not necessary for it to do that. And so their estimation as far as savings per year was listed. They don't have it right here, but it's a couple $1,000s per year, and they have funding to complete the project in like the full amount at this point. So I'm working to get a quote to get that work done so that it can be in place, and it won't affect operations. Like if you went to the pool, you wouldn't notice any difference at all. It's mostly during the middle of the night that it's still turning the air over, I believe 2 times. We realize that we have some electrical issues as far as how much electric we have available down in the Marina Park to be able to do larger events such as the 4th of July festival with a speaker system for music, plus bounce houses, plus food vendors. So I've reached out to Umatilla Electric to determine what would need to be done. And the gentleman that works there is working to find out what that would be in order to increase our capacity down there. And we have a new Marine Patrol deputy, a super nice guy. He introduced himself to our staff and has called us to help him out with like pulling logs and stuff out of the marina. So he's wants to be involved with the community. We signed new contracts, which is important to note because the fire department has have been aware and have been watching that we haven't had a functioning fire alarm system in the recreation center because of our previous contract. And so we have a new contract and they're upgrading from 3G to something more modern and our batteries so that we will be good to go and not in trouble mode moving forward, which is really exciting. And also getting the updates that caused some of the HVAC issues a couple months ago, 2 months ago, I think, because our system for the pool has never been updated in 5 years. We're 3 updates behind. So this will get us to where we need to be. And we were looking at quotes for air conditioning. We're looking at now for just like a portable unit for the mechanical room, because the temperatures are getting so warm that it's overworking our pump system and we don't want it to begin failing. There's a alarm that is continuously being triggered by the high heat, and we need to make sure that we preserve our equipment. So we're looking at just some portable AC options now. As far as the maintenance reports and the recreation reports that are there, Craig has been busy with doing a number of different maintenance projects. One of the larger ones was in our campground area. We used cold patch in a number of areas in the campground on the main driveway to fill holes because they were becoming a trip hazard. So-
I noticed in Circle C, when I'm driving through,
Mhm.
they've got the cones all up on the north side of the circle. And you know, the road looks pretty damaged right there. Are they gonna fix that?
I'm not aware of Circle C's road.
So that's A, B, and C, correct?
Correct. And I'll be going to see tomorrow. So
Go to C one, go see, they've got the cones, so people are
Okay.
driving through that and stuff. It's pretty, that's probably the worst spot you have, in my opinion. Consideration.
there is money that was earmarked for repaving down there. We did talk to the gentleman that does paving, and he said that due to the width of our roads and they're not quite wide enough for modern equipment, the quote was like $1 million+ to redo the pads at the campsites as well as the road. And so we are trying to figure out what the best options are for down there as opposed to,
Look at small companies.
yeah.
'Cause there's companies out there that can do that.
Do you,
Not $1 million.
Oh, the cones are up to prevent people from driving over the grass and irrigation because they've just replaced some things, and people with their rigs as large as they are have been driving over them and have broken those. So we're trying to prevent that.
what about the under campground that says met with Point Pest Control to address spiders?
Yes.
Where is Point Pest Control anyway?
They
Never heard of them.
they have been actually all around Boardman.
Yeah, they just
Um,
go door to door.
Mhm. They showed up at my door too. They showed up at Shelby's door.
My door as well.
There you go.
Yeah, they hit the whole town pretty good.
Yeah. Their pitch was they were working with Sunnyside Cafe. We have some significant spider
In the
issues.
bathrooms?
The bathrooms, yes, and even them building spider webs and stuff on our gators. So we also checked with Terminex, I believe is the other one that is the only other option. They were significantly higher, and they actually don't have a manager to service this area currently. So
What
after,
about any of the other pest control people that are local in Hermiston, like Action Pest Control?
Mhm.
Like there's tons of pest control people in Hermiston.
Okay.
So I'm not saying not to use them. I'm just saying if you're going to use somebody, make sure you get a good quote because we have at least 2 or 3 in Hermiston that have been around forever.
Okay.
So Action will.
the concern is like if we, so we have, Jim and Becky would do, or Jim would do some spraying, but not to the extent of for the spiders and for other things that are appearing in our restrooms. They would be able to spray around here, the shop out there where we get mice and some other things.
Do we not have
as-
anybody with a pesticide license?
At this point in time, we do not. We are working on that.
We probably should get that.
Mhm.
'Cause that seems. It just seems different. that we
Not
have to pay
anymore.
for that.
No.
So
So,
Will just cost themselves a lot of money in that deal. And not getting the service they used to get.
okay.
give me a second. Start code, blah, blah, blah. Windway damaged irrigation pipes while digging. Those are
Yeah.
fixed now. Irrigation is finished.
Yes.
They were fixed by,
Windway, I believe, did the work on those.
I saw them out there. I was hoping it wasn't, I mean, obviously it must be there.
Yeah, and we've
Sure.
been talking to Windway a lot, like they had their company picnic down in the Marina Park. Yesterday, Lamb Weston had a picnic down there. Several of the other larger groups have had them down there, so I know that we've started, there's a good relationship going with some of the groups and having some contact with them.
Do we have any questions on the recreation manager's report?
Now I like that there's gonna be, you know, some adult things that are gonna go on the screen.
Yeah. I agree. John, they have jujitsu.
Who's gonna be teaching that?
Someone who, oh wait, now, Takeo, what's their name? It's someone who does wrestling.
It's Hans Rockwell. Hans Rockwell.
We're gonna call him the next Keanu Reeves. All right. What? He knows jujitsu.
Keiko,
So-
do you know if they're still accepting soccer registrations?
I am.
Okay, cool.
Who's updated the soccer ones? Yeah,
Okay.
they're all up. I think I got 8 today.
Yeah, I just had somebody text me a couple hours ago.
Yeah, they're not advertising the registration's open. They're still like they're making people come in and fill out a registration form at the rec and then having me input it because they don't want to
Oh.
keep team sideline out. But they're gonna keep doing them. We're gonna bill BCDA at the very end. That's what Luis Campos has going with Tori. So
Okay, because I did have one of my friends, she tried to register, but I think Katie contacted her and said that.
okay, and if you need me to, I could always email it to you or email it to whoever. Like I have no problem doing that too. So
Okay, I'll see what she did because that was
Okay.
last.
okay.
Thanks.
Alrighty, George. Sidewalk discussion, other business.
Sidewalk discussion. It's gonna be something between the city. We gotta figure out something that's safe for people that walk down here. Because there is no sidewalk once you get to the split from onto Columbia. And they're walking literally right on the edge of the road next to the rail. I've always thought of that. That was the first time I actually saw someone that I had to pass. I was going, this is so dangerous.
Because we have kids that walk to our program during the summer, the
Yeah.
teen program. And this is the first summer we've had busing. But
I gotta, that safe schools possibility can tie into that.
and there's a paths, something about paths that we could look at that's out currently.
Okay.
So I can look at that wording as
Yeah,
well.
The city will have to get on board and help us out on this, because it is a city street, but. That's a good question.
Actually, where does it become our responsibility to repave that road? Where is it that the park begins?
Yeah.
Where does our lease?
You're gonna go with the city planning position person and find out where our property starts, where we take over the road. Is it right there, or is it back there, or,
Do you know?
because we're all along.
We
it.
I
typically
think it's on this side of the
go to
line.
the stop sign. When we like snow plow, we just normally go to the stop sign and we stop there.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's the line, everything. Which would be our.
But we gotta figure out something, because I was just going, oh, man, I can just see that being a mess.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe has some safety. That's a good point. too.
Is it wide enough to have a path over the
So
bridge?
It would be, to me, I don't know what the correct answer is. But there's like the port has their engineering person. He can come down and look at it and say, Yeah, and I'm sure there's other people that are professionals in that area. There's tons of people that can look at it and come up with a better plan.
Well, and you have to get the Corps
Oh, yeah.
to sign off on it
Well,
because
it's a safety issue, you know, so they should not have any problem with Corps saying,
as long as you're not disturbing their dirt, you're laying on top of the dirt, right?
the dirt's there.
The dirt's just there. We're laying stuff on top of the dirt.
A floating sidewalk. Good. Technically, you could actually build a sidewalk that's anchored up, you know, you're up above the side of the ground. But I don't know.
Okay.
We'd still have to contact the Corps and do a land use permit,
Oh, yeah.
putting it
Yes.
on top. Because we did have to do that with the trail as well as with the disc golf course.
There you go then. But it's doable and it is a good idea. We really do need to, I agree. I noticed that at the 4th of July, everybody walks along that.
Yeah.
For the 4th of July
Mhm.
events.
Especially going back at night, dark. Here
Yeah.
it is. Cross the railroad tracks. Don't get caught.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any other business? If not,
No. Louis, got anything? No. No. Fantastic.
no, go ahead.
Oh wait, I have a question.
Okay,
Those soccer goals that are off, those nets, one of those nets is mine. But I wanna see if it's okay to take both of those nets down and put them, see if Sam Boardman would like to put them on their goals. I think that's the only soccer goals that don't have nets on them. Is that the Sam Boardman?
Should benefit the youth there.
I don't even know who owns the nets besides Norman, so. Who's the other one?
Yeah, I don't know who the other net, Luis, do you know who the other net belongs to?
There were, one of them was sponsored by the Latina League.
Mhm.
So you get no one to come, no one wants those goalie boxes, no one wants those kind of goalie boxes anymore. So I got a guy coming to take them apart and scrap them.
So can you get
Uh-huh.
somebody to get the nets off of them?
Yeah, I'll let them know when they scrap it, that if they can be careful with the nets and take them off.
Okay, oh, well, can you get somebody to do that? Like before they come and scrap it?
Oh, take them off before? I could probably get the guy to do it himself before he starts cutting it. I know him.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then we can put him at Sam Boardman, just donate him to the school.
If they're not for business, then let's, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
7:30 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night,
Everyone online.
Be safe. Enjoy, Shelby.